Ladies and gentlemen, aliens, androids, and wizards, welcome aboard the Milano as we count down the top 10 characters in Marvel Strike Force for April of 2021. These are the characters that I recommend building, and we're also giving T4 and Iso-8 recommendations, guys. So if you're ready to see who makes the list this month, find that like button and let's go smash it!
ValleyFlyin.
Hello, Valley Maniacs. I am ValleyFlyin. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you're ready to count down the top 10 free-to-play, aka farmable, aka fountainable characters in Marvel Strike Force for April of 2021. And I want to give a big shout out to you, each and every one of you that watched any of these previous countdowns. Now, previously, this list has been based on obviously their value as a character, how good their kits are, but also there's been a lot of subjectivity influence in this list based on my personal usage of these characters over the past month. But I wanted to provide a little more value to you guys this month and base this list on how much I think you should be building these characters. Now, this is based on where I am in the game as kind of an end game player. My main focus right now is building up characters for Dark Dimension 4, also on building up characters and teams to tackle the Doom raids. Very, very tough. So there's going to be some heavy influence from endgame, but hopefully, even as a new player, even as a mid-game player, hopefully this will still give you some value. As a mid-game player, you're going to be tackling the Dark Dimension 4 soon, the Doom Raid soon. So these are the characters that I think are valuable for that as far as endgame content. Obviously, they're going to be great in War. Obviously, they're going to be great in Arena. And as far as a new player, well, this is a glimpse into the future for you as well. Maybe a little more distant future, but if you have access to some of these characters, then you may want to start putting some resources into them, because at the endgame level, they're still going to be very, very valuable to you. So let's go ahead and take a look at who is not eligible for this list, because yes, it has changed over the past month or so. Now, we have all these legendary characters who technically you can get as a free-to-play player. You can farm all of the characters required to unlock these characters, but for the sake of this list, they are not eligible because we could just go legendary in the whole top 10. So they're not eligible for this list. We got our Dark Dimension characters there. We got our milestone characters, and we got a bunch of great teams. So right now, there's a bunch of teams that you cannot complete, which diminishes their value a little bit. Like Call Obsidian, not able to get the Empowered Thanos if you don't already have Call unlocked, and it's gonna be tough for you to unlock him. So no Black Order. The Symbiotes, we got 3 key members, not fountainable right now, so no way to get any of these shards, although I think Scream will be farmable very soon because of her inclusion in the most recent battle pass. And then She-Hulk, as we know, will be coming to the Blitz store probably next week. But we also don't have the X Factor there. The Dad Bros, awesome team. If you can build them, but not going to be eligible for this list. Same thing with the Axemen. So 2 of the best raid teams not able to complete the full teams if you are a free-to-play player right now, if you don't already have them unlocked. And then some of the new teams like Shadowland, like maybe not a new team, but the meta character right now, Silver Surfer, not eligible for this list. So yes, there's a lot of great characters on this. Emma is even here, so just no way to get her. No indication of how she's going to become farmable. But let's clear this off and see who was eligible for this list this month, newly from April. And only 1 character. We only had 1 last month with ZEMO. Only had 1 this month with Beast. And Beast, if you want to farm him, he's available on Nexus 5.9. But let's clear off this right now and let's get into this countdown. Let's not waste any more time, guys. So here is the list. Oh, wrong one. This is it. April 2021, the top 10. And let's start us off. Boom. Number 10 is Taskmaster. Now, this character is a really good character, and this ranking was heavily influenced because he's a skill character, which means that he's going to have a little more value in the Doom raids than some other characters, because there's not a great pool of characters in that skill category to take on those skill lanes. A lot of great mutants, a lot of great bio, especially if you have Axemen and Symbiotes. But Mystic, Tech, we have some great characters there as well, but skill is very, very lacking. So Taskmaster gets the nod here. Back on this list, was on this list previously. Let's go take a look at my Taskmaster, see what recommendations I have as far as T4s and Iso-8. As far as T4s, I only put 2 in him. Would not recommend a special or the basic right now, but The passive is probably the most important. 70% of users on MSF.gg have this passive done, and 40% have this ultimate done. And as far as Iso-8 classes, Skirmisher seems to be the most popular, but Raider is the second most popular. 51% with Skirmisher, 36% with that Raider class. So good character. Very, very valuable on war defense right now. Still, one of the meta teams is the Merc team, and it's because of Taskmaster. Now they're falling off a little bit. There's more and more counters. I expect even more once we get a full X Factor team. But as of right now, still one of the strongest war defense teams out there. And like I said, valuable in the Doom raids. Not as much in Arena. Maybe not as I guess you can use them in PvP and real-time Arena as well. But yes, if you want to get Taskmaster, not an easy farm, more of a late game farm. Can be available on Doom 2.9. Let's jump back into the list though and see who comes in at number 9, and it is MINN-ERVA, falling a lot this month. Now, she's still a good character. I'm still using her a lot. But as far as where you can get her in the war store, there's a lot of other characters out there. There's a lot of great gear in that store. So you can put MINN-ERVA on the back burner. She's going to give you a lot of value in Dark Dimensions. Pretty much all of them, because she does that percent base damage, and she will give you some value in the raids. But because she is a tech character and you already have some great tech characters for Doom, you can hold off on MINN-ERVA for a little bit, especially because there's other percent damage based characters that you could take into Dark Dimension. But still a very good character. Let's see why she is so valuable. I guess we know why. It's because of her passive and her ultimate right here. But as far as T4s, not a lot of I don't have any, and I don't recommend any. If you needed to do one on MINN-ERVA, the best one is probably this passive, but only 24% of users on MSF.gg have this passive done, so not highly recommended. I think her Iso-8 class is pretty obvious as well with that healer class. And as far as value, the raids, she still has some value, but is in that crowded tech class where there's a lot of great characters there. But if you're doing Ultima 7, maybe you want to use her there. If you don't have a Symbiotes or Axemen team, she'll still provide you some value. Plus, she has that what is that? I want to say regeneration, but it's revive, so she could bring you back to life if one of your characters accidentally dies. So still a lot of value. Great PvP character. I see her once in a while in Arena on Arena defense, not as much anymore though. But yes, if you want to get her, she is in a crowded war store. So I would probably have a few other characters, some characters that unlock legendaries done before MINN-ERVA, and probably maybe even gearing up your characters before you do her. So that's number 9. Let's go back to the list and see who comes in at number 8 this month. And it is another character that is falling a lot this month. A lot of these two characters drop is based on the change of the criteria that I've done this month. It's not as much based on my usage. They would still be very high if it's based on my usage. So just to give you a little more value, I don't know if THANOS is a very, very valuable character as far as farming right now if you are not a spender. Now, if you do have Ebony Maw, if you do have Cullop Sidon, his value jumps a lot. He's still THANOS, empowered THANOS, still a beast in Arena right now, and Black Order still all over the place, especially on defense. But there are a lot of counters to him, especially with Silver Surfer's introduction to the game. So let's go take a look at him. And this is my first and only maxed out character, fully maxed out with all the stars and the gear on him. Now, as far as T4s, if you are building empowered THANOS and you have Cull, you have Ebony Maw, I think you have to do all of these T4s. They're all very, very valuable. If you're using an unempowered THANOS, I think the only one you really need is going to be this passive. It's probably the best one for an unempowered THANOS. And empowered THANOS, all of these are really, really good. The basic you're using is so much, so I'll recommend that one. And as far as Iso-8 class, the most popular by far seems to be Raider. There's nothing even over 20% from the MSF.gg users. Still valuable in Arena, but you know, if you don't have Cull, if you don't have Ebony Maw, loses a lot of value there. The raids, he's still going to be a very valuable character in the raids. You probably want to pair him with Ebony Maw though, if you're going to bring him into the raids, especially in Ultima 7. Not as much use in the Doom raids though. I guess maybe some, because he does provide those the energy to adjacent characters. War, Black Order still beats everything, but if you're not using Black Order, maybe you could use him on a Tech Nerva or that old school BKT. And can still be valuable in Dark Dimension. I have him in Dark Dimension, but as far as what he's doing as far as damage and helping my team, not doing a lot. So value dropped a little bit as far as that. And if you want to get Thanos, it's not an early game farm. It's going to be on Nexus 8, 9. So you can get him, but this is more of a late game character, and Black Order is more of a late game team as well. All right, moving on, moving up the list is number 7. It is our first symbiote on the list. Moving up 2 spots from last month is Venom. Venom, part of this important symbiote team in the game. Probably the second best raid team in the game right now. Axemen, a little better than them if you're apples to apples, but I think a lot of people have really built up their symbiotes before the Axemen were introduced. And yes, I'm using the symbiotes a lot right now in the Ultimate 7. And they're kicking butt in the bio section of the Doom raids as well. I'm kind of deciding if I should bring him into Dark Dimension as well. Maybe a 5th for those city lanes. Let's go take a look at my Venom and see what I have as far as T4s and Iso-8. And if we look at the T4s, I don't know if any of these are required. I put 2 in here, 1 on his special, 1 on his basic. If you really wanted to put a T4 on Venom, I think the best one is his special. But honestly, I think all of these are luxury picks. You could skip on T4s if you're scarred for T4s on Venom. And I think the best class for him is Striker. 67% of users on MSF.GG have Striker on Venom. And yes, they are the raid team. Also very good in war, able to take out teams like the Asgardians, Doc Ock, and the Sinister Six. And yes, he also is a legendary unlock. So build the symbiotes because they can unlock the legendary Shuri. They're not the only characters that can unlock the legendary Shuri, but they're going to give you a lot of value in mid and towards the end game as well. So Venom is a very important character. And you can farm Venom on Nexus 6, 9. Let's get back to the list though and see who came in at number 6. It is his partner in crime, the illustrious Carnage. This is where all the speed for the symbiotes come from, guys. And yes, it's just like Venom. Very, very good character. Very important raid team. Can be better than the Axemen based on their power level. If you have them equal power level, the Axemen are better. But I think, like I said, with Venom, a lot of people have already put a lot of resources into the symbiotes, so they may be a slightly better option based on where they are now. But equal power, the Axemen are going to be better than symbiotes. But I like the symbiotes. I'm still using them a lot. Let's take a look at my Carnage. And I think there's one really, really important T4, and that is this thing right here. This improves the entire symbiote team, giving them speed. As far as Iso-8 classes, Skirmisher seems to be the best. Getting all those targeted on the enemy teams is important. And I'm actually thinking of taking him or Venom into Dark Dimension as my 5th for the city lanes. It's going to depend on how much gear I get, how many bio gear 15 pieces I get, but both of them are candidates, and they provide different things. Venom has a great kit, ability to block, but Carnage provides that speed. So Carnage has a lot of value as well, and just like Venom, he can unlock the legendary Shuri. So great character as far as double benefit as well. War symbiotes do that just like what they did with Venom. They can take on the Asgardians, the Doc Ock, Sinister Six. So build them up. If you're an early game player, you're gonna get some value from Carnage as far as that legendary Shuri unlock. But as you get towards the mid and late game, and especially if you start to get anti-Venom Scream and symbiote Spider-Man, the value for both of these symbiotes is going to jump up pretty significantly. And if you want to get him, like I said, he's in a war store. He's crowded, but it's a crowded war store, not a player-friendly place to farm a character. But you can get the shards for him there. And if you've already completed a lot of other legendary characters, you have the gear that you need. I would recommend start farming some Carnage shards because yeah, you'll need them. You'll need them as the game progresses. Let's get back to the list though and see who comes in at number 5 this month. It is Night Nurse, making her first appearance on this list ever. And that was because she got a rework. She did have that rework last month, but as I'm starting to build her, she's getting more and more value. I'm using her more and more places. And I think a lot of that is because of that Shadowland rework, but also because she has that skill tag, which means she's going to be important not only in the city lanes of Dark Dimension 4, a decent character. If you don't have as much bio gear to build up your entire symbiote team, you can build up Night Nurse, and she'll give you some value in those city lanes and provide double value when you ultimately enter the Doom raids, because There's not a lot of great healers in that skill class. She is probably the best healer in that skill category for the Doom raids. I recommend highly building her up if you're close to Dark Dimension, especially if you're close to the Doom raids. So giving you a lot of value. Let's go take a look at her kit and see what T4s I recommend. And these are not super high priority. I think the best one is actually this special right here, but the ultimate is very good. The passive is very good, especially on full Shadowland teams. But actually the ultimate I probably would recommend, especially for the Doom raids, because she's going to start off with all 4 energy. You could use that on turn 1. There's only one Iso-8 class that really makes sense for her, and that is that healer class. But I guess if you're using her in different ways than traditional, then maybe another Iso-8 class would be appropriate. And you got the options. She's available very, very early on. I don't know if I would recommend her for a new player or mid-game player, because I think there's other priorities you have. But once you've completed some of the more standard teams, you're doing well in arena, doing well in the raids, and are close to getting Doom raids with your alliance, that is when I would highly recommend really hard farming Night Nurse. You could get her on villains 5-9 or heroes 5-9 and villains 3-9. But let's jump back to the list. Coming at number 4 this month is our girl HELA with Greg. Very, very good character, and is an important character as far as legendary unlocks, which is why she is up here so high. This is if you unlock her node at 3 stars, I think that is a transition from early game towards mid game once you get this character, because she is going to be the road to 3 legendary characters. You're going to unlock Phoenix directly with HELA. You're also going to unlock Black Bolt directly with HELA. And Black Bolt leads to Ebony Marshall. She is the road to 3 legendary characters. Very, very important to farm. And if you have shards for HELA, you have her unlocked before that node. She's very valuable in completing that node of hers on villain 7-6. Let's go take a look at my HELA and see as far as what I would recommend as far as T4s, and is 2 of them. The ultimate is probably her best one. That's going to spread all those debuffs. Her passive, it's really useful in war, and she's really fallen down as far as the meta, as far as war defense, but as far as war offense, still very valuable. And this special, I think, is very good because it gives that disrupted for 2 turns instead of 1. Really one big Iso-8 class that I would recommend. Not a lot of choices here. I think Raider is very, very strong for HELA, and that gives her a lot of value. Now, in war, like I said, she's kind of shifted to war offense. Not as valuable on war defense. Very, very exposed with the symbiotes, and very easily countered with the symbiotes. So I don't know how many people are still using her on war defense, but war offense still very good. And in the raid, she is that mystic character. She's also going to have you a lot of value in Dark Dimension 4 if you have those mystic pieces. She's a very expensive character for Dark Dimension 4. So I don't know if I would recommend her. She's going to make Dark Dimension 4 a lot easier, but she's also one of the most expensive characters in the game. It's taking 90 of those Gear 15 pieces. So not a huge recommendation for Dark Dimension 4, but if you do build her up, you're not going to regret it as far as the speed that you can get through those cosmic lanes in Dark Dimension 4. But the raids still very good. She is a mystic character and will be very good in the mystic section of Dark Dimension, or in the Doom raids, especially because of Greg. Sometimes the AI targets Greg, and that is what makes her very, very valuable as well, because of that Greg mechanic. So yes, if you want to get her, she is in that villain 7-6 node, and 3-starring that node, I think nowadays is that transition between early and mid game. So I would recommend getting and farming that node as soon as possible if you got the characters to beat it. All right, here we are back on the list, and coming in at number 3 this month is it is Ghost, moving down 1 spot, but she is such a great character. I still recommend building her. Unfortunately, she's gonna be in that crowded war store, but it's still worth building her after a few other characters. Now, the important thing about Ghost, not only is she great in all those game modes, she's also unlocking the legendary Jubilee, and that is the binder of that Axemen team that brings them all together. Let's go into the game and take a look at my Ghost, see what I would recommend. As far as T4s, there's 2, the ultimate and the passive, both very, very good. Over 50% of users on msf.gg have both of these done. And as far as Iso-8 classes, there's really one. 87% of users have that striker class on hers. Does so much, removing turn meter on her basic. she is amazing, and she is in one of those characters that does percent-based damage. So taking her into any lanes in Dark Dimension, very, very good. I think she was the MVP. Her and Sinister, MVP of the global section of Dark Dimension 4. And if you're using her in some of these other raids like Dark Dimension 2, Dark Dimension 3, I think she will help you immensely. This Pimjack team was designed for Dark Dimension. I think the only one that is necessary to build is going to be Ghost. And yes, valuable in Dark Dimension, like I said, but also valuable in the raids because of that percent-based damage. Also the Vades, helping the team to stay alive. And War, I've seen people use her on War offense effectively, use her on War defense effectively. I think she's a little better on War defense on hybrid teams. But yes, because of that Jubilee unlock, I think she is very, very valuable and could be, I don't know if she should be, one of the characters that you're investing in first in the War store. Because she has a lot of value in those game modes and she's a legendary unlock character. So let's move back onto the list and see who's coming at number 2 this month. It is ZEMO. And this pick was influenced heavily by the Doom raids. He's a skill character and he is one of the MVPs for the Doom raids. The other one probably Red Guardian, but he's not farmable right now. So ZEMO gets the nod for this spot in War. He's the master of War offense. I've seen some people use him on defense, but War offense, he could counter a lot of teams, especially Hydra 2.0, Hydra 3.0, other Hydra hybrids with the Dad Bros. They work very, very well. So War dominant, raid dominant if you're doing the Doom raids and that's that nasty skill section. I don't know if he has a lot of value before that. So this is probably that late game farm. I probably wouldn't recommend ZEMO for earlier game players. There's a lot of other teams, a lot of other characters that you probably want to be building if you are not close to the Doom raids and if War is not as important to you. But he's available in the raid store, so it's not like you're sacrificing a lot of great stuff in the War store by farming him. Let's go take a look and see his kit, see what I would recommend as far as T4s. The big one is this one right here, this passive. That does a lot of stuff, mainly damage, 100% damage on his opening turn. 3 positive effects from enemies, more speed, that is always good. And as far as Iso-8, there's really one Iso-8, that Raider. He's doing a lot of damage to multiple enemies, so getting multiple targets on characters will be good. And like I said, War dominant, raids dominant, Dark Dimension, one of the choices for Dark Dimension 4. I was picking between ZEMO and Black Widow. They're both pretty cheap as far as that, so both decent options for that. I went with Black Widow. My next skill character is probably going to be ZEMO though. And yeah, see, he's rated very high because he does have that skill tag. I'm super biased towards skill right now. But let's move on to the final spot on this list. And judging by who is missing, I think you already know who is number 1 on this list this month. And it is this guy, Mr. Sinister, the most future-proof character in the game because of his clone mechanic. I think no matter where you are in the game, if you have Sinister, you could invest confidently in him because he's probably going to stay in meta or at least relevant for a long time because of that clone mechanic. Let's go ahead and take a look at the T4s. Most valuable is going to be this one, this clone T4, because that puts all the T4s into the clone of his. And I think the second most valuable is this passive right here. These other ones are probably more luxury picks, but I think this ultimate. And then if you have extra T4s, you could put this passive, and then if you really want to get crazy with them, do the rest of them. But as far as Iso-8, healer seems to be the best class for him as well. By far, over 90% users on MSF.GG have that healer class on him. And as far as MVPs of Dark Dimension 4, global lane, it was Mr. Sinister. Ghost, Mr. Sinister, they are the powerful duel for those global lanes of Dark Dimension 4. So I highly recommend building him. Now, unfortunately, he is in that crowded War store, which means if you are farming Sinister, you're sacrificing farming other characters that may unlock legendary characters. You may be sacrificing some gear that you possibly getting for your other characters. So again, he may be a late game farm. I don't know if I would recommend going for him first as far as the War store, particularly because he doesn't unlock legendary character. But I think as far as value, once you have some of these other teams built up, some of these legendaries unlocked, he should be one of the ones that you build up first and farm first, assuming that you have some other legendaries built and you're not really going hard on them. Arena, he's all over Arena. He is all over on war defense particularly, but I'm seeing more and more people start to use him on offense, but I still think he's defense dominated. And as far as the mutant lanes, we have the Axeman, but if you don't have the Axeman fully built and are trying those Doom raids, he is very good as well because of his clone mechanic, especially if you have that dad bro combo and you can use multiple dad bros with Mr. Sinister's clone. It could be very, very valuable. So I recommend building him after some characters. Once you have them built more towards the end game, I think he's a high priority. If you're more newer player, more mid game, I don't know if he's a high priority. I think you go to the legendaries first. So that is the list, guys. There's a few honorable mentions that I do want to mention. Black Widow is very, very good in the Doom raids as well. That skill lane, she has a skill tag. I brought her into Dark Dimension, so she has some value there. The speed ups helps the entire team. That stun helps the entire team. She's a great character. Beast, also very important character. He just was made farmable this month. And if you can get him, and if you have Jubilee unlocked, if you have Bishop unlocked, if you have the rest of the Axemen unlocked, his value goes up very, very quick. And I think you should unlock him. But if you don't, you could probably hold off on Beast. Probably still using him on the Uncanny X-Men team, and he makes that team good. And then the last one I do want to recommend is Proxima. She is another skill character. She has a stun. She has offense down. She clears buffs. She does a lot and is important for Dark Dimension 4. She's not super expensive. She is a member of that Black Order team, and her value goes up a lot if you have Colin Ebony Maw as well. So those are the characters that I recommend. Those are the honorable mentions. Let me know your thoughts on this list, guys, and the new criteria. Does your list look very similar to mine? Maybe if you're a newer player, a mid-game player, your list will look different, but this is what I think end-game players should focus on. And let me know your thoughts. Hopefully this list helps you. And let me know if it helps your alliance base as well. If it does, share this with your friends. Check out some of my other videos. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the morning on the Valley 76 Twitch stream with the rest of the Valley Club. So give me a Hulk fist bump before you go. ValleyFlyin out.